Which actor played their role too well? Glenn Howerton as Dennis Reynolds. I am not allowed to eat it with the skin. I am not allowed. Smoke some cigarettes. The smoke will suffocate the bacteria in your stomach. Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. It's so ridiculous to me they wanted to give Freddie Prinze Jr. more money to return as Fred than they were willing to pay Matthew Lillard for Shaggy. Who the duck cares about Fred? Sure, he is in the gang, but those movies are 60% just Scooby and Shaggy. They don't care about Fred. They cared about Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Prinze, who come as a set. To his credit, he supported Lillard getting paid the same, but the decision isn't his. Kathy Bates in Misery. She was absolutely terrifying. The contrast with her films such as Fried Green Tomatoes, where her character is really sweet, is pretty amazing. She's not typecast. Joffrey Lannister, whatever his name is. I saw him in London last week, and I've got to say he's a really nice guy. Humble as duck and has a rockin' mustache. That just it. In his interview, he is the nicest man on the planet. And then bam, he is ducking evil bastard Lannister. Fellow GOT cast members often mentioned him as being the absolute nicest guy on and off set. Which makes the reports of him getting death threats from over-obsessed fans all the more troubling. Stanley Tucci in The Lovely Bones. Took me forever to get that creepy-ass character out of my head whenever I saw him. Ralph Fiennes in Schindler's List. Terrified me. He disappeared into the role, too. Same in Red Dragon. Dude is so convincingly crazy in that movie. One of my favorites. Christoph Waltz as Karl. Hans Landa in Inglourious Basterds. Tarantino once said in an interview that he wouldn't have made this movie without a convincing Landa. Waltz does speak several languages in reality and was the perfect fit. You could say he made the movie possible. I saw a video about his role and Tarantino told Waltz to hold back 50% during rehearsals, so when they went to film Tarantino could get genuine reactions from the actors. Told Waltz to hold back 50% during rehearsals. This isn't even my final form. John Heater cannot undo Napoleon Dynamite. I see you're drinking 1%, is that because you think you're fat? 'Cause you're not, you could be drinking whole if you wanted to. Grandma said you have to leave because you're ruining our lives and eating all our steak. The pedo dude in Prison Break. Giancarlo Esposito as Gus in Breaking Bad. He was brilliantly evil. Yes. Just rewatching the 5th season of BCS before the finale drops next week and he is amazing. Love the way he transitions from cheerful, helpful pillar of the community to seriously scary mastermind who would have you killed without a second thought if you got in his way just by dropping his smile. I was skeptical on his appearance in BCS when it first happened, thought it might be gimmicky and a ratings grab. Quite the opposite. I think it added a lot of depth to an already great character. In Breaking Bad, Gus seemed almost too perfect in his thoughts and actions, not to mention his supernatural awareness in the parking garage. His awkward social interactions made me think he was on the autism spectrum or similar. His role in BCS was great because we could see him growing into the disciplined mastermind we'd see in BB. Sure, all the cunning and intelligence were there, but nowhere near the control and near robotic mannerisms of BB. He was prone to outrage, and making rash decisions. Also, it was great to see that Mike wasn't just his loyal flunky, they butted heads. Imelda Staunton as Dolores Umbridge. There are very few villains that I've seen in books, movies, or video games that wanted to personally kill more. That means she did an unbelievably good job as a twisted villain. Edit. I never expected this post to explode like it did, ha ha ha. Umbridge was rage-inducing just from her depiction in the books. To think an actress could bring such a contemptible character to life. Reading this to my son when he was around 7 or 8, he hated Umbridge so much in one scene he hit the book. The character works so incredibly well. We all have horror stories about authority figures abusing their power but staying within the rules. Emo, that hits a lot better than a genocidal supervillain as it's much closer to real life. I knew far too many adults like Umbridge while growing up. That character really is a perfect distillation of an evil, smug, authoritative twat. And the actress pulled that off perfectly. Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. He is also incredible in the first season of Westworld. Saying Anthony Hopkins is cheating in this thread, I guess. Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator. I couldn't watch him in another movie for years, because I hated his character so freaking much. Same here. That's the first film I remember seeing him in, for a very long time after when I saw him it'd be like, oh. That's the guy that played the dickhead Commodus. The busy little bee line still gives me chills. Willem Dafoe, my man, played Green Goblin too damn good. He is something of an actor himself. Dafoe might as well have looked directly at the camera for that one in NWH. That line wasn't for anyone in the movie, that was for us as the audience. I'm something of a meme myself. Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh. Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh, his hair in that role was equally terrifying. I want it long in the short places, and short in the long places. John Lithgow in that one season of Dexter. I can't look at him the same anymore. He creeps me out. I remember how funny he was in Third Rock, and I think he was on a documentary expressing his fascination with break dancing. His performance in Dexter really took me aback. Didn't know he had that in him. Yeah, it's like when Breaking Bad came out and people were like, Bryan Cranston? The goofy guy from Malcolm in the Middle? Yeah, okay. And then he was awesome. Malcolm McDowell in A Clockwork Orange. I can't even look at the guy. To be honest, I think his performance was so good that it was bad for his career. Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler. I always found his face to be unnerving, and when I saw him in that movie suddenly it all made sense. He was born for that role. Hess in that strange sweet spot between very good looking but also kinda creepy. Everything about his face is structurally perfect, but he has psychopath eyes. Even when he's being jovial in interviews, he looks like he can see under your skin. Hugh Laurie as House. This man is the character. But have you seen him in Blackadder? Christian Bale in The Machinist. Dude almost died. His repeated weight gain loss makes him great in his roles, but can't be good for his health. Ripped in American Psycho, stick thin in The Machinist, ripped in Batman Begins, skinny in Rescue Dawn, ripped in The Dark Knight, skinny in The Fighter, ripped in Dark Knight Rises, fat in American Hustle, ripped in Exodus, fat in Vice. Forgot a few more. Not to forget American Psycho, his adult breakthrough role, where he was ripped AF and tanned, and according to WP even had veneers on his teeth. Is that why his teeth were so vibrant? Were they bone, eggshell, or pale nimbus white? Let's see Paul Allen's teeth. Look at that subtle off-white coloring. Oh my god, they even have a watermark. Christian Bale from American Psycho. Interesting. Hashtag X200B, hashtag X200B, hashtag X200B, hashtag X200B. Let's see Paul Allen's opinion. Heath Ledger. Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl. Talented, gorgeous actor, and I cannot unsee her as terrifying and calculating. Hugh Jackman in Logan. The next iteration of Wolverine is going to have to hit it out of the park to top that performance. Yeah, when you're the only actor to play the same role over 20 years despite every single other character getting another face. What was he in? 10 of them. I bet it'll be a few years before Disney tries to do another X-Men movie. Gotta give time for the memories to fade or it just won't work. John Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane. PTSD activated. Catherine O'Hara in Schitt's Creek. I have no idea how she managed to make everything consistently over the top and yet still not turn her character into a despicable self-parody, of a parody of a spoilt millionaire wife. Edit. Whoa, my first ever awards. Thank you everyone. Beb. J.K. Simmons from Vern Schillinger in Oz to back as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man. I never seen a role that man didn't do amazing in. Scary as hell in Whiplash 2. Not quite my tempo.